back to the kitchen. We're gonna talk all things marinating and brining. So I know you see marinades in recipes, and really the possibilities are endless. And they'll give you a time frame between 4 and 24 hours, and they're just being generous. Really, you should marinate things for 24 hours. It is such a great way to impart flavor, and it'll also help to break down the tough proteins in meat and giving you that nice, juicy, tender meat that you love. So when we talk about like beef or lamb, some of the heavier meats, you want two things. You want an acid, so whether it's a vinegar base or a citrus base, and that's going to help to break down the proteins in the meat and give you that juicy texture. You also want a fat, like an oil. In this case, I have just olive oil. But that's going to help to emulsify the sauce, and it's going to make a paste and allow it to stick to the protein even better. So really, the possibilities are endless with marinades. In this case, I have beef tenderloin marinated in a blend of balsamic vinegar, a little honey. So any kind of sugar is going to give it an extra browning, which is really that color that you're going to want in these proteins. I've got some fresh herbs, a little soy sauce, a little Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of salt, and olive oil. And then I have a very shameful ingredient that I just can't do without. A1. Dr. Marshall, don't kill me. I think it actually says that it has high fructose corn syrup on the label, but I just can't seem to give this one up. It really does have a lot of flavor, and I do ask for it at a restaurant. Sorry. It's amazing. And here we've got lamb, and I went a different route with lamb. And don't be shy about using these Ziploc bags. They're so easy. You're not going to use any of this leftover marinade to cook with because you don't want to transfer that bacteria to like a dipping sauce. So if you're going to make a dipping sauce for a marinade, make extra, pull that aside, and then just reserve the extra only for marinating the meat, and then throw it away. So in this lamb, this is my go-to. I have fresh rosemary and thyme, a little bit of honey, dijon, a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of olive oil. Again, it's going to go for 24 hours, and it's going to go right to the grill. Let's talk about poultry. It's really great to use dairy products with poultry because they really break down, especially in chicken breasts, which tend to be really dry. But we can't have dairy. I've found actually that some of these plant-based yogurts really work just as well. So in here, I've got a plant-based yogurt. I've got garlic cloves, about 3 crushed, a little bit of lemon juice, and some salt. These are amazing like Greek kebabs that we'll have later this week. So I've just mixed everything together, cubed up my chicken. I'm gonna throw this, cover it up, and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. So no matter what your marinade is or what ingredients you use, you need an acid, you need a fat, and then everything else is up to you. Chili paste is great, soy sauce, depending on what nationality of food you like or what flavor profile you're gonna go for. The possibilities are endless. Now let's talk fish. The flesh of fish is much more tender than, say, a beef tenderloin, so you don't need to marinate it for as long. This is a simple marinade I use for fish tacos. So tonight we're gonna have fish tacos. I have 2 pounds of halibut, and all I'm gonna do, I've got acid. I'm literally just gonna squeeze this into a Ziploc bag. So I've got lime juice. I'm gonna add a little bit of fat with olive oil so that it helps to emulsify and keep the sauce together. No worry about whisking it. A couple tablespoons. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt. So if you've ever had ceviche, you know that it's fish, raw fish with salt and acid, and so it begins to cook the fish right away. I'm only gonna marinate this for about 15 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go to put on the grill. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of fresh cilantro. My husband hates it, we love it. So some people have this gene where cilantro tastes like soap, but I've given it to him like once a week for the last 16 years, and he's eventually acquiesced. Just a little fresh cilantro, salt, lime juice, and a little bit of olive oil, and I'm literally just gonna put the fish right inside. Woo! I'm gonna shake it up, put it back in the fridge, and let it marinate, and then it'll be ready to go in the grill for some awesome fish tacos. Now let's talk about brining. So why to brine? Well, have you ever had some dry ass Thanksgiving turkey? Nobody likes it. So when you're looking at the really lean proteins, chicken breast, turkey, which is notoriously dry. Here I have a pork tenderloin, which also can be dry. Brining is a really good way to tenderize the meat and impart flavor. So when we do the Thanksgiving episode, I'll brine my turkey for 2 days. But I don't need to do that here with the pork tenderloin. We're just going to brine it for 24 hours. So how to brine? I have 4 cups of water here. Some people boil their water, which is fine. It's an added step. You really can dissolve the sugar and salt in the water without boiling it. So why boil? So a brine typically is you have just a salt and water solution. So I've got 4 cups of water, and I'm just going to add about 4 tablespoons of salt and allow that to dissolve. That's why I love cooking. You never have to measure anything, just eyeball it. So I'm just going to stir this in. And then from here, I like to add a little bit of sweetness. So I add about a tablespoon of sugar that I'm going to have dissolve as well. You can add honey or molasses into your brine. Really, any kind of sweetener. Brown sugar would work really good, especially with pork tenderloins. And you can add a little applesauce. It'd be amazing. So really, all I'm looking for is to dissolve, like you're in 6th grade science, the salt into the water. From there, then you can add any kind of whole spice. It's not a have to. This would be fine as it is. Sometimes when I'm doing like chicken breasts or preparing them for the grill in the summertime, I'll throw a beer in here also. So really you can add anything. Today, I'm just gonna add a couple whole star anise pods. I'm gonna put those right in my handy dandy little Ziploc bag. Which give a little bit of a licorice flavor. So I'm gonna make this pork tenderloin into, and have some peaches on the side. I think it's gonna go really nicely. So you notice I didn't measure. I just threw just some peppercorns, 2 star anise pods. We've got our salt, sugar, and water mixture here. So I'm just going to gently pour this into the bag. All right, so for my pork tenderloin, just a little tip here. There's this really kind of piece. It's called the silver skin that's on pork tenderloin. You always want to cut that off. It's called silver skin for a reason because it's really shiny. When you cook pork tenderloin and you don't slice that off, it's going to make the tenderloin really tough because you imagine as it heats up, it's going to contract. And this is like a sinewy texture anyway. All right, so our pork tenderloin's prepped. Our water is ready to go. If you've boiled it, you want it to get to room temperature before you put your raw meat in. But since I just have room temperature water, we're good to go. I'm gonna place this bag in the fridge for 24 hours. And then it should be ready to either roast or grill or however you're preparing your proteins. So this is the down and dirty way to brine meat.